So I'm with Seif, he has just watched our trailer. Seif, what did you think about White Lies?
White Lies, I think it was pretty good. I personally enjoyed it because I'm invested into like the urban youth kind of theme and genre. So overall, I did enjoy it. Yeah.
In response to Brother Seif enjoyed White Lies, he says he enjoyed it because of the modern youth and urban aspect, and this is exactly what I wanted to hear, because this is exactly what we set out to do in terms of setting it in a urban setting like the city, inner cities. Like we've used central Paris as a location, we've used Bromley as a location, so these are all quite urban areas, and this is what we wanted to sort of emanate, the urban youth culture, if you like, the modernistic cities of Paris, the Luxembourg Gardens, all of that sort of really came together, and that's exactly what we wanted to sort of depict within the trailer, that it was going to be urban, modern, and it would appeal to youth because that was our demographic in terms of targeting. Specifically, I think that in terms of Seif's age, Seif is 18, and this again, in terms of the demographic we were targeting, it's someone of this age group that would hopefully that our trailer would appeal to and would then go on to watch the film. So I'm happy that Seif has responded positively to this, because it's his very own demographic in terms of age that we were targeting.
What did you think about the mise en scène?
I think the costumes used in your trailer fit the genre really well, like the coats and the jackets.
In response to William's answer about mise en scène, he specifically says that costume was conventional, and this is great because we particularly used smart attire like I'm wearing now, roll necks, suits, and to portray the criminal lifestyle we used things like casual wear, dark clothing, so we won't be identifiable, which is then true to the genre because it's how criminals work and that's what they do. So in order to portray the business side of it, we used nice suits and classy wear, and in order to produce the street life and the by day he's a good guy, by night he's this guy, I felt that was effective in terms of how we did that via costume, and William also seems to think the same.
Did you feel it stuck to conventions, or do you think it went against them?
Yeah, definitely. In terms of conventions, I did think it stuck to it. Even develop it at times with the whole, especially through the mise en scène. I think it really did provide an idea of what the film is, and so going into watching the film trailer, it's very obvious that, you know, it's about urban youth. So yeah, it did stick to the conventions.
In response to Seif's answer, Seif feels like it stuck to convention in terms of MSN, mise en scène, in fact, and sort of what it looked and aspired to do. This is great news because we feel that we worked hard on mise en scène and carefully structured things and placed things in a way that it would be conventional to our genre, and we are happy that I am happy that Seif is able to identify this as being conventional to the genre, because it means that what we've done has been effective in portraying it that way. Seif also felt as though what we did sort of, while it stuck to convention, it even went on to develop convention, and that is also a great thing to hear because it means that we've taken what the norm is and we've pushed it further into a direction which is even more developed, and I'm proud that that has been accomplished in my work, and I'm proud that a fellow media student appreciates that work.
Did you feel that it sticks to the conventions, or that it challenges conventions of drama?
I think it sticks to its conventions by using a lot of dark scenes.
In response to Will's answer about convention, I feel that he is right in saying that we used a lot of dark scenes to sort of display the convention of tension, using iconography such as dark scenes in order to build tension, suspense, and that's really true of a drama slash thriller, and that's exactly what we wanted to incorporate so viewers would understand the type of genre it was, and then follow the iconography and the way we've used iconography to portray this positively in a way of such they would understand that this was a drama slash thriller. So that's excellent to hear from Will.
Did you feel that the cinematography fit the genre?
Yeah, definitely. The cinematography had a mixture of like low angles, high angles to kind of show who's an authority and who holds more power over the other person. Obviously, there was about 5 people that I saw, and although they all represented themselves very equally, you can see the difference in who owns like more money or who owns more power, etc.
In response to Steve's comments about cinematography, I'm happy to hear that he's identified that we used cinematography and a mix of high angles and low angles to sometimes show who was more dominant in the scene, and I feel that this has been well received by Steve himself and other peers, and this is exactly what we wanted to hear, because when we decided to compose with a mixture of high and low angles, we did this in order to portray a meaning without telling it. So it was almost that we wanted to implicitly infer this, and we are glad that this has been deducted by our audience, because they've been able to make inference and deduction, and we are happy that we have almost sort of laid down the breadcrumbs and facilitated them to do so.
Does cinematography fit the genre?
Yeah, I think it does. The low angles and the close-ups create a dramatic effect.
I'm also quite happy that Will says that the mixture of low and high angles helped to develop the story. He says that the mixture of low angles and close-up angles helped to sort of build suspense and add to what a drama is supposed to be, and this is exactly what we wanted to hear, because that is exactly what we sought to do. And I think it's taught me that should I want to produce something of a similar genre, that I should add close-ups and I should include a wide variety of angles when I film, in order to make it almost more interactive and structure it in a way that the audience and the viewer understands. I'm happy that Will also identified that this created a dramatic effect, because in drama you expect things to be dramatic. There is supposed to be a lot of suspense and tension, so for this reason I'm happy that Will has identified this.
What was your opinion on the soundtrack / mise en scene?
It was definitely great. It had like a fast-paced feel to it. You know, the tempo was kind of fast. It had this high pitch and low pitch, so obviously it kind of kept you on edge, and it very much fitted what was going on to the screen. So,
in regard to what Steve has said about the soundtrack, I'm happy that he feels it has complemented what is going on the camera. This is exactly what we sought to do. We felt like we should almost sort of synchronise what was going to be played and what was going to be shown, so that we would get a full sense of the imagery and our viewers would allow their minds to wander by what they heard as well as what they saw. I feel like this generated a great effect on the viewer, and it further enticed them to watch our production. And hearing from Steve that this mix of fast pace as well as a high-end mixture of various tempo as well as various pitches complemented what was on screen, I'm happy to hear that, because that means that we offered the immersive experience that we sought to do, and what we set out to do was accomplished, so I'm happy for that reason.
What would you say about how we edited / done our trailer? I mean, would there be things you would improve?
So how you edited the trailer, I thought it was pretty good. You know, it stuck to the conventions and developed the conventions. Anything you could improve, I'd say add more people who talk. Obviously you have one person on the phone who's actually talking to Erkan, so perhaps if more people were involved in terms of dialogue and voiceover, it would help like increase and make the narrative more clear.
Steve thought that the editing was conventional. He enjoyed the editing. He said it delivered smoothly and was conventional to our genre. However, he said that it could have been improved if, and I quote, we added more people who spoke and maybe showed another person on the phone talking to Erkan in order to sort of strengthen the clarity of the narrative. I feel this is a fair point made by Steve, and it's something that I will take into consideration when I make different things in the future, because he does have a point in terms of our restrictive narrative may have been maybe too restrictive, and maybe we should have laid out a bit more breadcrumbs. But then again, we did want to go for the restrictive, we did seek to make a restrictive storyline, so it's sort of checking and balancing between what we seek to do and how people receive it.
Finally, where do you think we could improve?
I'd say more locations. Obviously, there's a lot of locations shown, such as in Bromley, Paris. However, I feel like the trailer would have gone in deeper if we actually diverse inside the locations and we actually were established in the locations.
In response to what Steve has said about the location, he feels as though we should have sort of delved deeper into the locations that we already had previously used in terms of existing locations in order to sort of add more clarity. So in a sense he wanted us to, or he felt that it could have been improved if we had, say, while we were in Paris and we were in the Luxembourg Gardens, maybe say if we concentrated ourselves in a specific part of the Luxembourg Gardens to sort of add more depth to the narrative and thus the story overall. I think this is a fair point because, as I said, it's quite restrictive and that's the way we've intentionally composed it. But I feel that if we sort of laid a bit more breadcrumbs out, it might have balanced itself out in terms of how the viewers and the audience may receive the content, and thus sort of, while being restrictive, also give information and sort of be varied in the approach of animosity. And I think that's a great point made by Steve, and it's excellent constructive criticism.
What were the parts you enjoyed the most?
I think the drug deals are the best bit because they create a lot of suspense.
Lastly, Will thought that the most exciting part, or the part he enjoyed the most, was the sort of handover scene where we've had Chima and Benedict hand over a bag in order to sort of spice things up in the trailer. He feels that this added great tension and suspense because obviously you don't know what's in the bag and you don't know whether it's legal or illegal, and these are all the sort of questions that are wandering in the minds of our viewers, which is exactly what we wanted to create in terms of how they would respond to the content. And this is typical of the genre itself in terms of you tend to question, oh, what's this in the drama, or oh, I wonder what's happening, and the suspense and the tension builds, which is what we are happy about, that it's been effectively accomplished.